Ooh, that was... I gave it the brakes. Too much brake. Yeah! Look at that. Oh! And I landed it. There you go. See?
Yeah. We wandering off and shit, dog. Yeah. Finish my cup and post.
These lights are cool. That bar is cool. Lights in the back too. That OC Day fan. I think this is an OC Day. That's an OC Day 80. They make 60s, 80s, and 100. This is the real one. You can tell it's got the bigger heatsink and the super loud fan that's pushing a bunch of air. The new versions of these are labeled Ghoul RC, and they're actually Charlance or whatever. I did a video on it, and they're terrible, but usually the 60 amp ones, and they're thin, and they have a thin heatsink and a weird fan and a weird fan shroud. But this looks like an 80 amp OC Day, the old school one, so it should be pretty good. It's pumping. It's moving. And I did add a fan to the motor, and I also geared up to a 28 tooth. I think it was a 21. 21 was stock. Now everything feels smooth, but there's a little bit of notchiness I feel from the front. So we'll see if it breaks in, and if not, I'll go through these diffs. But yeah, 28 tooth pinion from a 21 tooth, I believe. I think this was a 21 or a 20. And heatsink in the fan, the stock battery, everything stock. This is an 80 amp OC Day. And the shocks, they feel a little bit soft. I gave them some preload. They're okay. Seems like they're going to need some heavier fluid. Other than that, it's pretty nice. It's got the aluminum, looks like a nice milled shock towers. It doesn't look like cast. Looks like a really nice setup with Hex hardware. Let's get it out there and bash it. I'm going to break these dips in real quick. And we'll get out there and give it a bash right now. ZD Racing Rocket DBX-10. Green color, lights, all that good stuff. Really nice shock towers. Shocks looks pretty good. They're kind of soft. Chassis looks good. It's geared up, and it's got sway bars, Hex hardware. I'm not going to do an unboxing on this. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. But like I said, it's got an 80 amp ESC, 3660. I think it's a 22 or 2300 kV. I'm not positive. I've got to look into that. The dips felt tight in the front in particular, but after I broke them in, they loosened up a little bit, and I hope they're going to hold up. 48 pitch gears is kind of a disappointment, but they do have a billet spur gear or a steel spur gear for this. I added a motor fan, heat sinking fan. Stock battery 3S I'm running right now. Seems to be it's torquey. Ooh, the brakes are pretty strong. I checked most of the screws and everything. Everything seemed tight. I didn't check the grub screws on the center shaft, ring and pinion, the center shaft drive cups. I forgot. I think, who was it? Oh my goodness. It was Steve from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. I think he lost rear or front drive. It was probably a grub screw on one of the drive cups. He thought it was his slipper clutch, but well, we never got to really figure out what it was. I don't think he ever did another video on it. The handle's actually pretty good. Now I remember I built one of these 10 scale ZDs. It was that 4x4 stadium truck. It was a kit, and the diffs were good. It came with like a billet style spur gear. That was cool, but this has got a plastic spur. A little slap wheelie action. Now the ZD stuff's not made for like big sends and stuff like that. It's meant to bash around, race around, do some little jumps, you know. It's not meant to like send like an Arma, but even if you send your Arma super big, you're gonna have to upgrade a lot of stuff. Just like anything else. Ooh, that was... I gave it the brakes. Too much brake, but I just tapped them. These brakes are pretty strong out of the factory. Also, these big wheels, they give you a lot of air control. Looks like the plastic on this newer one has been updated from the previous one I built, and of course this one's got some really nice shock towers. The original one had some pretty nice shocks too. I think they still sell that kit for like under $100. And the cool thing is you can get that kit for under $100 and then buy the chassis for this. I think it's like $12, $14 for this chassis. And then that was the main flaw of the other ones. It was their chassis was so thin and so flexible. And then the brakes they give you, the upper brace, it's like a rubber band. It's so flexible, it does nothing. But I checked the brace on this one, and it's way more stiff. And of course, it also has a aluminum chassis. But like I said, for 90 something bucks, you can get that kit and put this chassis on it for $15, and then of course you're gonna have to buy yourself a system. But you can get a little cheap $40 system for it. It's fun going in these leaves. You know, 150, 160 bucks, you get yourself a ZD Racing 10 scale 4x4, either the stadium truck or the buggy. You know, 150, 160. Pretty cool. Just gotta build it yourself. But I think the diffs are already put together. Shocks are doing better than I thought. I had to add some preload to it, but they're not that bad. $214, guys. Shipped from the Banggood warehouse. In LA. 2-day shipping. See how she's doing. Ah! I knew I felt something. The last front drive. Remember what I was talking about on the drive cup? I specifically mentioned the drive cup pin. I forgot to check it. No. The pin for the drive shaft is out. The Zach, can you guys see that? Hold on, let's see if we can get it to right there. Okay, see that hole? The exact same thing happened to my buddy Samurai the other day, but of course that Samurai's 4 years old. This is brand new, so that's why it's two-wheel drive. It's that little pin. I've got pins. They're pretty much just the hex pin, you know, the little axle pin for your hex. Same thing. So let me tap one of these in and we'll be back out another time. Peace.